Hey everybody, welcome to Bura Tech. In this episode, we're going to be talking about Mac versus PC in 2020. Alright, welcome back. Before we start this video, I want to make sure that you like and subscribe. The more likes and subscribers we get, the more content we can make. So let's talk a little bit about developing on a Mac or a PC. Now, if you want to make Mac-specific apps on Xcode, well then this conversation is over. You should clearly pick a Mac. But if you want to develop cross-platform apps or for the web, which development environment should you use? So I both have a Mac and a PC, and for the last few years, I've been using a Mac almost exclusively. But my MacBook Air went obsolete and I bought a PC laptop, and I'm actually fairly impressed. Now, one of the things over the years that Apple has had a huge advantage on was the fact that Apple had basically a little bit more stability, meaning that you wouldn't have a computer that would crash. I can't tell you how many times I've seen the blue screen of death on a PC over the years, but Windows 10 is really good and I rarely, if ever, see that blue screen. But I do see it, so Apple still does have a little bit more stability. Rarely, if ever, does my Mac crash, and this is one thing that I absolutely like about Apple, is that it is a little bit more stable and a little bit more robust. The PCs that I buy tend to be good, but occasionally something happens, like it freezes or there's a blue screen of death or something. So within the first week of buying my PC laptop, it did freeze and I was instantly reminded about why I use Macs. But does this answer the question, should you buy a Mac over a PC? Well, one of the reasons I did buy a PC for my home computer, because one of the things I do is I go to an office every day and I think it's a lot more productive. Personally, I like to work alone with no distractions, and this is the best way that I am productive. So I have an office and I have a desktop and a laptop. And perhaps for a future video, I'm going to talk about why I'm ditching the MacBook Pro in favor of an iMac. But if you're from the future, you can check it out here. If not, you'll just have to wait for that video. So I bought a PC laptop at home to develop for the Unreal Engine. And this is another thing why I bought the PC. The Unreal Engine tends to work a little bit better on PC. It does kind of chug on the Macs. And even on my MacBook Pro, the Unreal Engine does chug. And depending on the Apple versus Epic lawsuit happens, we'll see if the Unreal Engine will ever be on the Mac again. Please, I hope it does stay on and that this issue gets resolved. So one of the other things I absolutely love about my PC is that it is away from my Apple ecosystem. I'm recording this on an iPhone and I have iPads, iPhones, and of course a MacBook Pro. One of the things that's on these devices is the messages. So when I am on my PC, I'm completely disconnected from messages, and I think this is really good and really productive. One of the best things you can do to concentrate is to literally shut off all of your communications in your devices and completely focus. If you can do this for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or if you're really awesome, an hour, then I think you'll be very productive. Remember that getting better doesn't mean the amount of time you're spending is the amount of productive time. There's no point in spending 8 hours on a task when you can do it in 30 minutes to an hour. You want to shut off all of your social media and you want to shut off all of your devices, and sometimes you might even want to disconnect from the internet altogether. Sometimes I do unplug the internet and I get some work done. I think it's really awesome. So in reality, you really should have a PC and a Mac if you really want to develop for cross platforms. And the reason for this is that if you want to upload to the App Store, of course you need to have a Mac computer. And if you want to make, let's say, a game for the Xbox 360, of course you have to have a PC. So developers really should have both, but if you had to pick one over the other, which one would you pick? Well, again, it's really more about preference, and I can't really give you a definitive answer. It's more about what you want. Personally, I do still like Apple quite a bit. Everything works well and is fast, and I think it's really good. On the other hand, though, PCs are quite a bit cheaper and you get quite a bit more for your money, but sometimes you do have problems where it freezes or you get the blue screen of death. So make sure you back up your work. So if you really want some kind of definitive answer, I would say that if you want to develop games, whether that be on the Unreal Engine or Unity or some other engine, I would go with a PC. The graphics card and the specs are a little bit better for a little less money on the PC, and I actually do like using PCs for game development. If you want to be a web developer or an app developer, I would probably go with Apple, just because everything is a little bit more secure and a little bit more robust than the PC. But if you want to do web development on a PC, that's good too. Now, whether you like Mac or PC, I think we can all agree that you don't really want to develop software on an iPad Pro. I know Apple is really trying to make this work, but I really don't like developing on an iPad. Personally, the iPad is something to read in bed or to watch a movie in bed or on a plane. It's something portable. It's not something that I want to do heavy duty. Again, I'm going to talk about this in my MacBook Pro versus iMac review later. So check back to this channel and make sure that you subscribe for that video. Now, going back to the iPad, one of the things that I have is repetitive stress. In fact, I use a mouse trackball because I used to get a lot of repetitive stress. And moving too much is one way to get a lot of repetitive stress. So doing this and using your arms too much to develop on an iPad, I frankly think that that's not as good. Even if I did have a mouse, I still wouldn't want to use the iOS platform to develop. And this is something that Apple really wants to push, but I very much prefer Mac OS to iOS. I really don't want to develop software on an iPad. So that concludes this video. Please share your comments down below. Do you like Mac or PC better? Let me know. Remember that this channel doesn't do a Patreon, instead we sell our digital products down below. The more money we get from the content that you buy below, the more content that we can make, especially the free content here that you see on this channel. If you really like this channel, and if you really like my company, Mammoth Interactive, you can subscribe to Mammoth Interactive's huge library of content. We release 20 to 60 hours of fresh new content per month every month. We have a monthly and yearly option. It is the best way to help out this channel. Our goal is to get to 10,000 paid monthly subscribers on Mammoth Interactive. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in another video.